Ready for an adventure? Today we're diving deep into Pakistan's Gandhara region, to uncover its role in Buddhist history.
Sounds fascinating.
It is. We've got YouTube videos, taking us to these historical and religious places, plus articles about Gandhara art, preservation efforts, all that.
Really paints a picture.
It does. And the visuals, wow. Think towering stupas, intricate carvings, even a mosque made entirely of salt.
You had me at Salt Mosque.
Right. Okay, so Gandhara. It kind of flips the script on what we think about Pakistan, right?
Yeah. Pakistan's often seen as mostly Islamic, but 2,000 years ago, the Peshawar Plain, that was the heart of Gandhara, like a global Buddhist center.
Whoa, global, huh? So we're talking like major importance here, not just a few temples.
No, this was a hub, instrumental in how Buddhism spread east, especially to China.
A cultural crossroads. And that's where this Gandhara art comes in, right? What is it about this art that makes it so unique?
It's a fusion. Get this, Greek and Indian styles all blended together.
Wait, Greek? Like ancient Greece?
Right. Exactly. Think Alexander the Great. His conquests in the 4th century BC left a Hellenistic mark on the region. It shows up in the art.
Wow, so the art's like this visual record of cultures clashing, coming together. Okay, so what sites actually bring this history to life? Like in Pakistan, where do we go?
Start with the Swat Valley. It's called the Cradle of Buddhism in Pakistan. Stunning landscape, mountains, greenery, and tons of stupas, those dome-shaped things with relics inside.
Oh yeah, I read about the Galgay Buddha, one of the biggest stone Buddhas there.
Yeah, but sadly it was damaged by the Taliban. Shows how fragile these ancient sites are.
Man, that's heartbreaking. But there are good stories too, right?
Absolutely. The Shingarter Stupa, it's in a village, and the people there, they protect it. Shows the power of grassroots preservation.
Love that. Okay, what about Takht-i-Bahi? It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but what makes it special?
Takht-i-Bahi is an old city, layered, literally and figuratively. It was a trading center, even conquered by Alexander the Great. But the real gem for us, the Julian Monastery. Imagine 300, 400 students there, all learning about Buddhism.
Wow, I can almost hear those discussions. Those videos really make you feel like you're there. So what happened to it after all that, the monastery?
Well, it was excavated, early 20th century, uncovered amazing artifacts. But get this. Many of the statues, they ended up in the British Museum. Sparked this whole debate about ownership, repatriation of historical stuff.
Ooh, yeah. Whose history is it, right? Complicated stuff. Last stop for our little virtual tour, Takht-i-Bahi. What's the deal with this monastery?
Okay, imagine this. Takht-i-Bahi, up on a hill overlooking everything. The structures are amazingly preserved, UNESCO World Heritage Site, the whole deal. But here's the thing, it's surrounded by villages and the people there. They might not fully grasp just how globally significant this site is, right there in their backyard.
It makes you think. How do we, bridge that gap? Help people connect with their own history, in a meaningful way. Okay, enough sites for now. Back to the art, the Gandhara art. What are we actually looking at? What makes it stand out?
It's all about the fusion. The way Greek and Indian elements come together, you see it in the Buddhist statues, they're lifelike. A big change from earlier, more symbolic ones. The drapery, hairstyles, faces even, it echoes those Hellenistic styles.
So it's like two worlds colliding, making something totally new. So I'm guessing the Peshawar Museum is a pretty impressive collection, right?
Oh, absolutely. Must see if you're in Peshawar. Sculptures, reliefs, even coins, all showing this amazing blend of styles, like stepping back in time to this moment of cultural exchange.
Okay, so we've seen the monasteries, the art, but what about, today? What's happening now?
Right. Well, the Pakistani government, they're putting in the effort to protect these sites and boost tourism, too.
I read about that. So what are they doing exactly?
Well, first off, laws. The Antiquities Act, that's a big one, helps fight trafficking, vandalism, those are real problems for historical places.
So it's not just like hoping people behave, there are actual consequences.
Yeah, exactly. And then conservation, that's huge. Like Takht-i-Bahi, they've got programs to keep those structures in good shape, make sure they last.
Yeah, it's like they deserve some TLC, right, after all this time. What about technology? Is Pakistan using any of that to help?
Oh, totally. Digital preservation, that's a big thing. They're making digital archives of the sites. Think about it. You could have a 3D model of, Takht-i-Bahi, explore it online anywhere.
Whoa, that's so cool. Like a backup for the future, But what about, me? If I want to actually go to Gandhara, what's that like?
Well, they've launched the Gandhara Tourism Initiative. That's a major step. They're mapping out sites, improving facilities, even considering amenities for, religious practices.
So it's for everyone, not just tourists.
Yeah. making it accessible, welcoming, the whole deal.
That's great. Okay, but practical stuff, what's the best time to go? And like, where do I even start?
Weather-wise, March to April or September to November. Avoid the crazy heat and cold. Start in Islamabad.
Okay, Islamabad, check. Then what?
Takht-i-Bahi, definitely. Then Peshawar for the museum and other sites. And then for the grand finale, Swat Valley. Tons of Buddhist sites there. Plus you can find tour companies, specialized ones if you want a more guided experience.
Sounds epic. But gotta ask, what about the challenges? Like, besides the damage we saw, are there other threats?
Awareness is a big one. A lot of people, even in Pakistan, they don't know about this history. And funding, of course, preservation's not cheap.
It never is it? And then there's just like instability in the region. Right, that can't help.
Right, it makes things vulnerable. But hey, there's good news too.
Oh, good. What's looking up?
The government's focus on tourism is huge. They're not just sticking to the big sites, they're developing lesser-known ones too. Spreading the love.
Makes sense. And what about local communities? Are they involved?
For sure, more and more. Training in conservation, even setting up their own museums, cultural centers.
I love that. They get to share their own stories.
Exactly. It's empowering.
Okay, we talked about digital archives before, but is there other tech being used?
Oh, yeah. VR and AR, those are game changers. Imagine putting on a headset and experiencing the Julian monastery as it was. Or using AR to, overlay info on Takht-i-Bahi.
That's wild. Bringing the past to life. So, if I'm totally hooked on all this, any advice for exploring Gandhara?
Do your homework. Figure out what interests you. Plan your route. Comfortable shoes, essential. And dress modestly, especially at religious sites.
Right, be respectful. Any other pro tips?
Learn some basic Urdu, it helps. And the food. Don't miss the food. And hey, even if you can't travel right now, there are virtual tours online, books, museums.
So many ways to connect. This deep dive has been amazing. We've seen monasteries, the art, the efforts to protect it all. But, there's another piece to this puzzle, isn't there? The people. Yeah, it's not just about the ruins and stuff. It's about the people who live there now, right? Their stories, traditions.
Absolutely. They're the heart of the Gandhara experience. They bring those sites to life, more than any book ever could. Imagine visiting that Shingardar stupa, hearing the villagers tell you how they've protected it for generations even.
Yeah, that makes it real, that personal connection. I read that some communities, they're even making their own museums, cultural centers.
Right. It's amazing. Preserving traditions, creating opportunities, win-win. They get to share their heritage on their own terms.
Gives them a voice. So any specific examples that stand out to you?
The Kalasha people in the Chitral Valley, they've set up cultural centers. Visitors can learn about their, traditions, music, crafts. It's beautiful how tourism can actually help preserve culture.
Totally. Okay, but how do you find these places? They're probably not in the guidebooks, right?
That's the fun part. Go off the beaten path, talk to the locals, you'll be surprised what you find. Some of the best experiences, they just happen just by observing, soaking it all in.
Slow down, be present, right? So it's about more than just seeing the sights.
Exactly. And remember, be a responsible traveler, respect the customs, support local initiatives, leave a good impact.
Good advice. Okay, let's look ahead now. What's coming up that'll, shine a light on Gandhara's legacy?
Some really cool stuff, actually. There's this project using LiDAR technology to map out huge parts of the region.
Wait, LiDAR, isn't that for, forests and stuff?
Yeah.
How does that work with archaeology?
Think of it like X-ray vision. It scans from the air, can spot tiny changes in the ground, could be buried structures. They're doing a big survey in the Swat Valley, hoping to find lost monasteries, stupas, maybe even whole settlements we never knew about.
That's incredible. Like a whole new chapter of history. Anything else we should be excited about?
The Peshawar Museum. Big renovation happening, new galleries, displays, a whole research center. Plus, they're digitizing everything, so anyone can access those treasures.
That's awesome. It sounds like Gandhara's future is, really bright. Technology, innovation, it's all playing a part. It's amazing how Pakistan's embracing this heritage, not just as, relics, but as a living part of their culture.
Yeah. It's been a journey for sure, uncovering this hidden part of history, exploring the challenges, the opportunities. We started by, challenging that idea of Pakistan as just an Islamic nation.
Yeah.
And we found this whole tapestry of Buddhist history woven right into the fabric of the country. We saw breathtaking sights, the art, that incredible fusion of Greek and Indian styles. We even talked about how the government's promoting tourism.
But it's not just about the past.
Right.
It's about us, all of us, our shared humanity, that responsibility we have to protect and celebrate all these different cultures.
Totally. To our listener, keep exploring. There's so much more to discover about Gandhara. Dig into the resources, connect with organizations, maybe even plan a trip.
Yeah. Share what you find. Start conversations. Be an advocate for this stuff, not just in Gandhara, but everywhere. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep sharing. Until next time, remember, the past is never really gone. It's waiting to be rediscovered, brought back to life through our curiosity and our commitment to, keeping these treasures alive.